Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Jonathan Sellers.
And I'm Danielle Percival. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Sports. Less than a month after Don Maestry's retirement, Troy University men's basketball has a new head coach. So let's get to know Phil Cunningham. Tuesday, Trojan Arena became home to the new head men's basketball coach, Phil Cunningham. This will be his first time as a head coach at the Division I level, but he's not new to the game. Cunningham is a 23-year coaching veteran and says Troy was just the opportunity he was waiting for.
When you're an assistant coach and you're moving up the ladder and you're always thinking about the opportunity to be a head coach, Troy was always in the back of my mind because I'm sort of a small town guy and grew up that way, and I love the weather in the South and all those things, but it always struck in my mind about Sartain Hall and how tough a place it was to play.
His background is, interestingly enough, similar to his predecessor, Don Maestry. Cunningham was an assistant coach at Mississippi State for 12 seasons, where Maestry also served in that position. And more than that, the two are already friends.
He called me this morning. I can't tell you how much it meant for him to pick up the phone and call me, and was so welcoming in his in what he had to say to me. And I will consider him a mentor. I want to sit down and talk to him about how he thinks it's best to be successful at Troy. So I feel honored to be following Coach Maestry.
Cunningham isn't exactly stepping into unfamiliar territory. He was an assistant at Western Kentucky last season and already has Sunbelt experience.
I was prepared for a job such as Troy this time last year, but think about it a year later, fast forward to today, and I'm even more prepared. But I think this year in the Sunbelt has allowed me to have even much better feel in terms of, okay, how do we need to recruit to be successful?
It's not just about bringing in a new coach, though. It's about having the team buy into the system. And from Cunningham's first meeting with the players, it doesn't seem like there will be an issue with the transition.
The first thing he said, he had a couple rules, and the first thing he talked about was discipline. I'm really happy about that he said discipline, just to keep me on the right path.
He was real fired up, real excited, and I think that's what the program needs, someone to come in, kind of spark a little life into it.
One of Cunningham's first tasks will be assembling a coaching staff, but he already has one member on board. Assistant coach Ben Fletcher will remain with the program.
Well, after opening Sunbelt play, losing the series to a now ranked South Alabama team, Troy hit the road over the weekend looking to take a series from Louisiana Monroe. In the Friday opener, the Warhawks used a 3-run homer by Corbin Green to take a 4-0 lead on the way to a 4-2 win. Troy managed just 4 hits in the loss, 2 off the bat of Tyler Vaughn. Then the Trojans responded in Game 2 by belting 19 hits and scoring 5 runs in the ninth for a 10-6 win. The top 4 in the Troy lineup went 10 for 19 and drove in 4 runs. Matthew Howard picked up the win in relief. Then in Game 3, the Trojans got an outstanding outing on the mound from Shane McCain, who threw a 7-inning shutout in a 10-0 Troy win. McCain gave up 2 hits while striking out 7. Trey Santos homered for the 5th time this season, and Garrett Pitts went 3 for 4. And Troy was back at home Tuesday night and squaring off against the Auburn Tigers. Taylor Burke has the story.
The Trojans had won 4 of its last 5 games, and the Auburn Tigers had lost 6 of its last 8 games as the two teams met at Riddle Pace Field on a chilly Tuesday night. The streaks for both teams continued thanks in part to a Troy pitching staff that has struck out 41 batters over the last 4 games, including 14 strikeouts against Auburn, and a Trojan offense that has knocked in 10 or more runs 9 times this season. Troy dominated the Auburn Tigers 11-2.
Whenever you get that kind of pitching, you're going to have a chance to win the ball game. And they made a couple of mistakes. Auburn did a couple of errors that I really thought hurt them. But a good offensive team's got to capitalize on those mistakes. We were able to do that and have a couple of really big innings.
It's always a big game against Auburn, so just came out trying to do anything I can to get on base. We're just scrapping right now, just kind of waiting for everything to click, and hopefully that's going to happen soon.
On the mound for the Trojans was pitcher Ryan Sorsey, who's making his first start since 2011 following Tommy John surgery. Sorsey struck out a career-high 8 batters and allowed just 1 earned run in 5 innings of work.
Couldn't ask for a better start. My first start in over 2 years, so I didn't know how fresh my arm would be coming out of the pen. The most I threw in the game was probably 2-3 innings, so but I mean, I went a lot farther than what I thought I would.
Well, he's pitched well building up to tonight, and he is a starting pitcher in his background, but off of the Tommy John, we've kind of eased him back in the bullpen role. gave him a start tonight, and he threw pretty doggone good for us.
For the third consecutive game, Troy scored 10 or more runs to pick up a victory. The Trojans took advantage of 4 Tiger errors to score 11 runs on 10 hits, exploding for 5 runs in the 5th inning and 4 runs in the 8th inning.
I think we just put a lot of work in the fall, shortening down our swings, and I know personally I've always been at a point where if I'm not feeling my swing, I'm not hitting well at all. And because we're short, because we're compact, we still have a chance no matter what's happening to compete up there and really give it our best shot every at bat.
Taylor Burke, Trojan Sports Now.
Well, after taking the series with back-to-back wins on Saturday, the Trojan softball team was unable to make it a sweep on Sunday, losing 7-4 to ULM. The Trojans were in control of the game after a big 3-run 5th inning to break a 1-1 tie, but late in the game, the pitching staff was wearing thin. Starter Sarah Thomas got the Trojans to the 9th inning, but was unable to complete the game. Thomas then took the loss, allowing 5 hits and 5 runs while walking 7 batters in 6 2/3 innings of work. But with only 1 strike needed to win the game, reliever J.C. Affelt gave up a grand slam to put the Warhawks on top 7-4 and give them their only win of the series. Head coach Melanie Davis said her team had its chances to sweep the series.
We had some really big opportunities that we could have been big in terms of RBIs and giving our pitchers a little more run support. And so I was disappointed from that standpoint. But I will say that all in all on the weekend, our defense, which has been a thorn in our flesh, our defense continues to get a little bit better.
Troy was scheduled to play the Auburn Tigers Wednesday, but that game has been rescheduled and moved to next Wednesday, April 10th. The schedule change was due to temperatures forecast below freezing. The Trojans were scheduled to play Florida A&M on April 10th, but that game has now been moved to next season.
Well, for the 3rd time this spring, the women's rodeo team was in action, and for the 3rd time, the women brought home the title. The women won Saturday night at the East Mississippi Community College Rodeo, and after a close finish their last time out, the Trojans made sure there was no doubt about this time. The women did not win any individual titles, but took the team title by over 200 points over second-place Missouri Valley. The men's team had one of their highest performances this weekend, as well as finishing in 3rd place. The teams will be back in action after Easter weekend at the Northwest Community College Rodeo, April 4th through 6th.
Well, Mother Nature brought an abrupt ending to the Alabama relays, but not before the Trojan track and field team posted several of their best performances of the season. The men's 4x100 relay team of Nico Freeman, Jordan Landberg, Benjamin Martin, and Philip Pritchett took 3rd with a time of 40.83 seconds. Jasmine Patton had a season-best finish in the 100-meter hurdles, completing the event in 14.11 seconds, finishing in 3rd place, and Eddie Lynn broke his own school record in the discus with a toss of 53.56 meters, moving up to 14th in the region. And this week, the Trojans swept the Sun Belt Conference Athletes of the Week in the track. Junior Thaddeus Curtis was named Sun Belt Track Athlete of the Week after 2 season-best times at the Alabama Relays, and senior Eddie Lynn is this week's Sun Belt Field Athlete of the Week after setting a new school record.
Another men's team that finished in 3rd this weekend was the men's golf team. They were in action at the Furman Intercollegiate and used a final round 294 to finish in 3rd. The Trojans entered Sunday in 4th after carding a 286 on Saturday, but shot a 6-over par on Sunday to finish with their first top 5 finish of the season. Jake Tucker led the Trojans with a season-best finish, tied for 7th after shooting 2 over par Sunday. Philip Brennan also recorded a top 10 finish for Troy, finishing tied for 10th. The women's team finished up play at the John Kirk Panther Intercollegiate on Tuesday in 7th place. The Trojans shot a 970 in wet and windy conditions, while Sophia Bjorkman finished tied for 15th with a 239.
And the men's tennis team was also fighting Mother Nature over the weekend at Central Florida. Troy fell 4-0 to UCF Saturday in a match including a 1-hour rain delay. After that loss, the Trojans were on a 4-game losing streak, but took to the court Wednesday afternoon at home against UAB, looking to snap that streak. The Trojans entered the match at 7-10 overall and 3-1 at home. UAB came in at 13-9 after going 1-2 in a tournament last weekend. The Blazers were up early on the Trojans. Troy was fighting to make a comeback. However, the Trojans came up short in the end and were swept by the Blazers 7-0.
Trojan Sports Now.